Rasmus.
And welcome to Wordly Talks.
Thank you so much.
Our-
Welcome to my kitchen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You have a very lovely kitchen.
Yeah. A bit of dishes in the background. I hope all of you can see that. I'm not a perfect man, but otherwise, yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad you invited us to your home and let me have this wonderful cup of coffee.
Yeah. And welcome to your first non-Zoom interview.
Oh,
as well.
thank you.
Is that right?
Yes, this is the channel's first non-Zoom interview. So we're still getting the ticks and tacks together, so to speak, but I think we'll manage.
Yeah, I think so too.
Isak,
Yep.
tell us about yourself.
My name is Isak Johansson, and 28 years old, from the Swedish west coast, a little town called Varberg. I do stand-up comedy, and that's why you're here today to talk to me, I guess, kind of.
Yeah. Kind of. You actually told me beforehand that you were from the best part of Sweden.
The best coast of Sweden.
The best coast of Sweden.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
I was like, we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's a bit like cursing in a church, or how do you say it? To say that in Stockholm, I guess, but it's...
I'm not from Stockholm, but yeah, it is.
It is what it is, yeah.
Yeah. So you do comedy, stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
But you host the show basically.
Yeah, right now I host a weekly stand-up show in Gamla Stan, Stockholm, at Stockholm Comedy Club at Älghjärtat. So I'm basically I'm the MC for the evening, and I present all the comics, and I do a bit of stand-up in the beginning, and in the beginning of the first half and in the second half, and I basically hold the show together, as you say.
How did you end up at Stockholm Comedy Club?
I started with stand-up comedy about a year ago, so I know all about stand-up comedy now. And I started in August, and in January I was part of a stand-up course, you could say. And the guy who hosted the course is the owner of Stockholm Comedy Club. So we got to talk, and I tried out MCing a bit before, and I also come from a theater background, so I have a lot of stage time before that even, and it worked fine. And he was gonna start Stockholm Comedy Club one night a week in Gamla Stan, and he asked me if I could be the resident MC, and of course I said let's go.
Is that the only show you do for Stockholm Comedy Club, or do you do some other things as well?
No, right now Stockholm Comedy Club have 3 different nights, or 3 different shows they do, and I've been in all of them, I think. But yeah, I have. But in that's like the main thing I do right now. It's the MCing on the.
When we talked the other day, because you and I know each other a little bit from before,
Yep.
You told me that you had, or I don't think you told me, I think you said it on stage, that you had, you were afraid to go up on stage, that you had this little phobia, or how you call it.
Let me tell you something, Rasmus. Not all the things we say on stage, we stand-up comedians, is true, and that is one of the parts that aren't true, actually. No, I think that's a bit of a trend right now in stand-up comedy to do stand-up if you're afraid to talk in front of people, I think. At least you hear about that all the time. Like, yeah, I had such stage fright, and I really hate talking to people. So I thought stand-up would be a good thing. And now I don't really get that.
So you lied on stage?
Yeah, I lied on stage. I'll be the first to admit I sometimes lie on stage. No, but it is of course a bit of... You do get nervous, or I get nervous. You have to work yourself up, and you have to get in the zone or whatever to do it. So I'm not completely relaxed, of course, but I don't have the speaking public phobia, or what do you call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when it comes to the process of writing jokes, I imagine there's different ones, of course, and then actually performing it on stage, before a live audience. I imagine you get both good and bad reactions, and you've gotten both.
Yeah, of course.
Go through the process with me.
First, from the start, I think just if you write music like you do, if you do stuff like that, I don't think there's any like this is how the inspiration comes to you, or this is how the stuff turns out. Of course, you can like sit down and now I'm gonna write jokes about this topic, or I have a thought, which I think can be some kind of funny in some way, but I have like a notepad on my phone, where I just, if something pops up, I just quickly write it down and then let it like marinate in my brain for the different amount of time, and sometimes and I have one routine which I have done almost every night at Stockholm Comedy Club, I think, in Gamla Stan, which is about the Swedish alcohol monopoly, and that is a full 5-minute routine which came kind of from nowhere. I think I was driving. I had like a 3-4 hour drive in front of me, alone in the car, and I just sat and cranked the music on top and just like screamed or talked the routine, and it kind of made sense and it kind of got put into place organically, something like that. But that's like one one lucky routine, I think. But it's of course, and when you have an idea, you have like a how do you say, like a finished joke on paper. That doesn't mean that joke is completely finished. But you have to like go up on stage and try it again and fail at it, I think. And if you do a whole set or a whole routine, you have to see where the audience catches on and where the audience laughs. If they laugh on the place that you want them to laugh or not, you have to like switch it up. But of course, it's a bit nerve-wracking to try new stuff.
I mean, like you have different outcomes, and like if the audience laugh here, I'll go this route, or if they laugh at the completely wrong place, you do something else.
Yeah. And of course,
also improvisation at the spot, like all right, I did not expect that, and you just
of course. Yeah. And I have a bit of I have a nice position now where I have like the spot and the time to try new stuff as an MC, and of course you can get that time and that spot if you like go and do clubs every day, but I don't have the time to do that right now because I'm working as well. But I have an opportunity to like try new stuff, see where the stuff goes, what works, what doesn't work. So that's, I think that's good for me at the moment to have that opportunity.
We talked about this earlier now in the interview, but what really made you want to become a comedian? Like, what was it that really pushed you over that ledge?
I think I've always wanted to be a comedian, I think. I've always been, like, in middle school, or like earlier than that, we have like, every Friday we had like, the last hour on Friday we have like the fun hour, where you can do whatever you want. And I used to tell jokes on that, and I remember we also did like short stories in school, which we could like do into special books, and we would like hand them around and read each other's books and stuff like that. And I wanted to like perform the jokes, but I thought it would be cheating to write down the jokes, so I just wrote like airplane, and then I knew a joke about an airplane, and I thought, okay, airplane joke. And I stood in front of the class and I saw airplane, and I didn't remember the joke. So that was the first bombing, I think, when I
was me when I started record button. I don't remember my questions. Like, oh shit.
Exactly. but you know, it's always I think it's always been there to be like, and that's of course an annoying thing to be, but I was always like the fun guy, or you know,
the class clown.
Exactly. Yeah. For in a good and in a bad way, of course, like it always is. And I've always been. I think I somehow knew that stand-up comedy was the thing I wanted to do, but I have the urge to do that. Have like found other ways to get out, if you know what I mean. I've done theater. I've worked a very long time as a guide at a museum. I've done like music quizzes, I've done like stuff like that, and I think that I think that I have like, that's where that part of my attention seeking has come out, I think.
Right, yeah.
But then a year ago, or more than a year ago now, I think I realized that it was like up to me. One day, no one is gonna like come knock on my door and say, "Hey, hello, you funny guy, come and do stand-up at our club," which I somehow like thought that's how it works, you know. So I kind of grew out of that.
You grew up.
I grew up basically. Yeah,
you grew up, yeah.
No, but and also a lot of support from my girlfriend, of course, who said you can do it. Come on. And I.
Except not in English.
No. It's this is really nerve-wracking because she has like lowered my self-confidence in English quite a lot. But it is what it is. It's gonna be a bit swingly. It's gonna be a bit like, of course, and well, I feel again you. What are you for one?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
That's a Swedish joke, but sorry about that one.
No, but she supported me, of course, and I had a lot of friends who went to my first gigs, which are not a thing you're supposed to do. If you do your like first or second or third or 10th gig, don't tell anybody that you're doing it, because to have your friends at the front row is like the worst thing, I think. But I did that, and they came and they laughed and they supported, and
they actually thought you were funny.
They said so. I don't know, but they
I sounded very aggressive then. Like, really?
That's possible. Did they really? Good liars, my friends. No, but a lot of support from friends and stuff like that. So and I also had like really luck in timing, I think, because I started in the fall of 2019, and I didn't know how anything works, so I just wrote to a club like, "Hi, I heard that you have an open mic. It's just to how do you do it? You just show up, or do I have a sign some list or something?" And he responded within a month, I think, which is kind of a short time for that club to respond. I've heard later on, and he said, "Yeah, you have 3 minutes. Come here then and then and see what you can do." And I did that, and it went very okay.
Very okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got a lot of support from other comedians, and right after I got off stage, one other comedian said, "I have another club, you have to come there and do stand up there," and I was like, "Let's go." And then it just snowballed from that.
Is there a lot of support in the community of comedians?
Yeah, it is. I think that depends, of course. It depends on. But I'm still new, and I still hang around people that are quite new, and in that, like, the new stand-up comedian community, it is really like really supportive and really fun environment. And of course, if you have a lot of like comedians in the same room, it is a bit because we all want attention, we all want to be seen and heard, and it can be a bit tough to like get in there. You know what I mean? But I think the people who are like bitter and the people who are like not as supportive, it's the comedians that have a few years in the business but are still like floating around in the same spot they were a few years ago. Yeah. I think it just I don't know if that's true, but for the absolute most part that I've seen, it's really supportive and really like you help each other, you tag each other on Instagram and stuff like that, and you like try to help each other, which is great, of course.
That's very great. Also, you can follow Isak on Instagram at isak.gpg.
Exactly.
Like the picture format.
Exactly. Genius Instagram name, I might say. So,
you're still pretty new doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself now moving forward? Do you have a plan or some goals, or are you just winging it right now?
Yeah, we saw Globen earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. It is, of course, like you know, I'm a white guy in my like late 20s. Of course, I want to do stand up and I like want to be on the big stages, of course. But and I would really like this to be my full-time money earning job, of course. And that is the big goal, like the future goal. But I haven't like sat down and made a like a 5-year plan or anything like that, because I don't work that way, I think. So, but
So you just grew up, is it right?
exactly. I'm new to this adult world. How do you all do it? I don't know. No, but of course the dream and of course some kind of plan is to be a comic in some way. Be it writing, be it performing, be it just stand up. Doesn't really matter. But that is the thing I'm really passionate about now is stand up, of course. But it is what it is, and now I don't know if you've heard, but we're in the middle of a pandemic now, also. So it is kind of hard to like put yourself out there and
yeah. One of the aspects I wanted to take this is that how you saw the pandemic situation right now, because we're in the middle of a pandemic, then you have to ask that question, basically. But like the stages have changed, all the service and social businesses have pretty much changed, except the online part of it. I think the online part has grown a lot bigger. Have you thought about taking it further online, or are you still focusing on doing it on the main, like face to face with people?
I am more interested in the face to face aspect of it, and that is, I think that is where the magic happens in this business. I think when you can you can do 2 exactly the same gigs and it can be totally different nights, and that is really fascinating and fun and scary and the best part about it, I think. And in the same time, it is 2020 and you have to be online, you have to have an online presence, you have to be present there as well to get the opportunities to do the live aspect of it. And a part of me thinks that sucks, of course, and a part of me kind of like has to accept it, I think. And I always like, when I grew up, we always did like small movies, me and my friends, we always did that stuff. So somewhere in the back of my head, I know that stuff, you know what I mean? But from like how interested I am about it point of view, I'm not really that interested in being an Instagram movie comic, you know? And that is, of course, some kind of jealousy towards the people who have done that and succeeded, of course. And it is one part just you know, you have to be so, it isn't just that you have to do it online, you have to be so you have to do it so regularly, you have to like do it on schedule. And I sometimes get fed up with myself and don't like, well, what is the point of this? Who is gonna watch this stupid sketch that I'm writing, you know?
But I think that's a feeling you get all the time with doing online content. Now, we haven't been doing it for a long time, but of course that feeling pops up. It's like, is somebody even watching this? But at the same time, you're doing it for yourself. Like,
of course,
for the fun part.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't matter if one person is watching it or if 100 persons are watching it. I think the most rewarding part is when people actually comment and telling you that, hey, I like what you do.
Yeah.
Like, there was a nice interview, or the person you interviewed was very, very fun, very exciting, like all that. So the people we have interviewed so far on this channel has been very supportive.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoy that. And we had our first big giveaway. We had the first real giveaway on YouTube. Yeah. The last video, and and the girl who won she was so happy. She's been messaging me for like 2 days, like, I'm so happy I won. I'm like, it's alright. Like, and she loved the photographer that we interviewed. So I think that's the thing that gives me the little push to keep doing this, even though like it's very time consuming and it's a lot of thinking and it's a lot of as you say, you get fed up with yourself, and you feel like one day, I don't want to get out of my couch today. I just want to lay on my couch and watch TV.
Yeah, exactly.
But then also there's something in the back of your head like, I need to get this done, and you're getting it done, and afterwards you feel like, okay, nice.
But that is like the same. You're looking for the same reaction, but that is like if I tell my stupid jokes on stage, I get that reaction instantly. Versus if I have to plan, I have to film, I have to edit, I have to do all that stuff just to get the comment or the likes or the whatever, which is kind of like the same. How do you say? Like the same gratification thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you do music, if you do some other kind of, if you do acting, if you do anything stage related, you get that reaction from the audience instantly, and that is what I love with the stage aspect of it. But of course,
I was thinking, when you perform a joke on live in front of people, you never know the reaction that's gonna come out, and sometimes you might do a joke that's can be deemed a little bit offensive, or in that aspect. What's like the worst reactions you've seen, or the worst outcomes from a joke?
Just mine, or like
yours, or somebody you've seen. You don't have to say names.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Don't call anybody out, but like just stories from the business, like.
But of course, the worst reaction is silence. Of course, that is the worst. I think if you, because in silence you don't know what the people are thinking. If you get heckled, which have absolutely happened, or if you get like boos even, you know what they think. But if there's silence, you don't know anything. So that's like one of the worst things, I think. My English dropped a few levels as soon as you walked in the room, baby. My God. Yes, and another thing with no, but I think the worst thing I've seen, or I've also done myself, of course, when you're new or when you don't get the reaction you search for, is to like continue to dig your own hole, so to speak.
Okay.
You
try to save the joke.
Just try to save the joke by taking it further, And if it hasn't worked the first time, it is really, really hard to make it work if you like just go on and on and on with it. And that I've had done myself a few times, and I've seen others do it as well. And that is like maybe, I think, from my experience, the worst thing you can do. And of course, there are really, really good comics and like good performers who can do that and still escape from the horrible feeling of silence and death and dread. But there are few, I think.
I've heard that some comedians have like a backup plan in case the joke goes wrong.
Oh.
So they have different directions to take the joke. It's like, if I get silence, I'll do this direction.
Yeah.
If I get a laugh, I'll just continue. Or like, so is that always like a preparation in the back of your mind?
Yeah, of course you have your. Of course, there are many different ways to do this kind of like performance, and all of them are equally valid, I think. But one like standardized thing to think when you do stand-up is to have your routine. It could be 5 minutes or 3 minutes when you start out, and then you have that, and then you add things. You add, so the set builds, and then it becomes 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. And when you're trying out new stuff and you see that this doesn't work, you have to have like the backup jokes or the backup 3 minutes to like save your ass from total disaster.
I've been to, we have a Big Ben.
Yeah.
There's a comedy club here in Stockholm, Sweden, which is called Big Ben, which is for also what Stockholm Comedy Club is doing. New comedians and also experienced comedians can come and try out their new jokes.
Open mic mixed with
And I was there one night watching a buddy of mine who's also a comedian, and this guy comes up on stage, not my buddy, another guy, and he does dead baby jokes.
Yeah.
On the spot, the first thing he does, and he just continues and continues, and it's completely silent in the room. after like 6-7 minutes.
Just like
6-7 minutes in dead silence, just continue grinding the same joke or taking it further.
Yeah.
These guys like, I think I'm gonna get off stage now, and the whole crowd was like, yes, choir, like okay, like that's somebody who didn't really understand the like, or he just wanted to try it. I don't know, like he wanted to see how far he could take it.
Yeah. There is a time and a place for a good dead baby joke, I think, but you have to like. You maybe don't start with it. Maybe no. I've also seen, but another thing which I've seen people do. What is this? Me like talking down on other comedians? I don't need to do that. But if you say something which doesn't land, and then you like, it is of course good to be aware of your situation and good to be aware of yourself when you do stand up. And if something doesn't work, you can say like, well, that didn't go well or anything like that. But some people, when a joke doesn't land, they blame the audience. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Like, why aren't you laughing at this? It's really funny. And you can do that. You can do that in a funny way, of course. But if you do that in like semi, like unnecessary way, that can also be like a dead giveaway of a person who are on stage for their sake instead of for the audience sake, if you know what I mean.
Alright, yeah. You're working right now with Stockholm Comedy Club, with Janne Westerlund, which is he's been in the game for 30 years plus.
Yeah, I think he did his first gig 1992, the year I was born. So I think.
Yeah,
so
okay.
he's like one of the.
He's an OG in the business.
Yeah, one of the like Swedish second wave stand-up comedians, I think. Yeah.
But is there any other organizations that you're working with or trying to work with?
Right now, I am. All of the gigs I do right now in Stockholm are Stockholm Comedy Club related, except for like Big Ben and open mic clubs like that. But otherwise, I have to shout out, of course, my favorite clubs in Göteborg, the town where I lived when I started. And that is the first place I went to was Andra Lång Comedy at the Abyss at Andra Långgatan. Like a little bit like Älghjärtat, which we are doing shows in right now. It's kind of like a hard rock place. And that was where I took my first like Bambi steps on the stand-up stage.
So just to clarify what Älghjärtat is.
Yes.
Älghjärtat is like a little basement room,
Yeah.
which is focused on beer.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know how big the room is. It's kind of small, like 30-40 seats.
Yeah.
So it's very small and intense.
Yeah, exactly. And that it isn't like a basement feeling, but it's kind of the same feeling at Andra Lång Comedy. And also Ridå is one of my favorite places in Göteborg. So if you're in Gothenburg, Göteborg, and want to see stand-up, you have Andra Lång Comedy and Ridå på Första Långgatan. That's the clubs I would like to mention, at least.
Isak, thank you very much for joining us in this episode and for all the funny stories and unfunny stories as well.
It is what it is, yeah.
Is there any like last thing you want to say before we go? Or tips or advices or just future advices for yourself?
Future advices for myself. Ooh, that's a good one. This would be kind of a time capsule for me when I'm in the beginning of my career. As all the people say in the business, get on stage, and do it, and that's how you get better. That's how you meet people. That's how you evolve. So listen to my advice, Isak. Don't quit on yourself. Yeah. and of course I want to say, come to Älghjärtat Tuesdays at in Gamla Stan and watch Stockholm Comedy Club.
Probably gonna change the day very soon, but
yeah. Oh, the ongoing pandemic. Yeah.
Follow Stockholm Comedy Club on Instagram.
Yeah, do
or
that.
Follow isak.gpg for information about where the comedy shows are.
Yeah.
And if you happen to be in Sweden during the pandemic and you still want to have fun, that's where you can go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Rasmus. Kids, it's a hard time out there. That's good. Now, if you like this video, remember to thumbs up and remember to subscribe to Worldly Beings. And kids, stay safe out there and do as I do, subscribe. Perfect.
Also, I forgot. Comment.
Oh, as well, don't forget to comment. Is there anything, any subject or anybody you would like to see get interviewed on this video podcast? Leave a comment down below. That's where I'll be, down below.